What's the most important thing in your camera bag? Well, find out what's been suggested to me in this video. Roll credits. Well, hi YouTube. Brian James, I'm Micro Four Thirds guy with you once again, and I'm back in dear old Blighty instead of being in Cyprus, and we've gone from a sweltering 32 degrees to a mouth-watering 13. Never mind, it's a bit on the cool side here, and we've had a little bit of rain, but I've been indisposed. Normally I would have come straight back and done you a couple of videos, but we've got a new puppy. We've got another cockapoo. We already have an 8.5-year-old one, Alfie, which some of you will have seen in the videos, where we now have a second one called Honey, and I'll put a picture up of her somewhere around about here, let you see what she looks like. But she's only 13 weeks old, and we've been waiting until we got back from holiday before we got her. So I've been on serious dog-sitting duties while my wife's been back at work again on the ambulances. So I haven't had time to do a video. I've been doing what you normally do, picking up, well, acting as a toilet slave for puppies. Why is it when you get a puppy that your whole life becomes revolved around cleaning up after them? Never mind. So, this video, what's the important thing in the camera case? Well, I had a really interesting chat with somebody just before I left holiday, who was looking through. I'd got my camera bag down with me, and this time was quite a minimal sort of camera bag, and if you look at some of the previous videos, I think there's a link up there, maybe. You'll see the sort of things that I was taking on the video, and it was quite a minimalist bag to be honest, but it suited me down to the ground. And I'm going to do a little post-mortem, if you like, on the video in a future chat with you. But we just got discussing cameras, and this guy was a real enthusiastic photographer. Really enjoyed himself on taking the photographs. And we discussed what was the important things to have in your camera bag, whether it be on a professional shoot, on a holiday shoot, if you're just going away in a car somewhere any day. And I came up with all the usual things. I sat there, I didn't really give much thought, it was just a nice conversation. But I sat there and I said, well, you know, what's really essential? Well, obviously the camera body. The camera body is essential. We'll both agreed that you have that, but there's so many camera bodies out there, you know, which one you take isn't that essential, so long as you got the camera with you. Well, particular lenses. Which particular lens? Is it a particular lens that you take on holiday with you? And we both agreed that with a standard kit lens, you can get some really fantastic shots of almost anywhere. So it isn't really that. And we went through all the bits and pieces, and he sat there and smiling at me, and he said, you know what, you've missed the obvious. I said, what's that? He says, the most important thing in my camera bag? I said, yeah. He said, a spare battery. Yeah, I suppose you're right, actually. Because how many times have you gone out with a camera and you haven't charged the battery up properly since the last time you forgot all about it, or it's been sitting on a shelf for a while and just naturally discharged, and you go out with the camera, you've got some fantastic shots to take, you're going to have all these memories to save, and the battery goes flat. That's okay, I'll just go into the bag and get my... where is it? I don't have a spare battery with me. And it seems the most obvious thing going. But we spend all this money. We spend thousands of pounds on a camera body. We spend multiple thousands of pounds on multiple lenses. We go off and buy the fastest SD cards to go inside them, or CF cards, or whatever sort of card that's in your camera to get the best performance out of it. We buy really expensive filters. But quite often we overlook the thing of just getting a spare battery. And I know the OM1 has come out recently and there's been a deal on a second battery with it. And I've bought cameras with deals on them in the past. My G9, for instance, came with a deal with the battery grip on it. But it didn't come with a spare battery. And a spare battery to me on a camera is just so essential. And it really set me thinking about what we give our priorities over to. And when I sat down and carried this conversation on with them, we said, yes, actually the biggest priority is a spare battery for the camera that you're taking. It's more essential than the camera itself, because it doesn't matter what camera it is, what quality it is, if you don't have a battery, you're not going to take photographs. The next thing we said was a spare memory card. And again, it sounds a bit silly. Of course you need a spare memory card, don't you? Do you take a spare memory card when you go taking photographs? I usually do, but I don't give it a great deal of thought. And I don't really give it a great deal of thought what's on that card until the last minute after sort of stick it and think, oh, is this a clear one? And then, can I afford to format it? Does it have stuff that I really wanted kept from the last time on it? And a good spare memory card is worth its weight in gold. Now, one of the advantages with taking the EM1 Mark II on my holiday recently is it's got a dual card slot. So effectively got a spare card in there. And there's been situations in the past where I have actually erased what's on the second card to use it as a spare first card when I've run out of cards. Just very, very rarely, and that's when I was a bit silly on something and really shot more than I should do. But in actual fact, that idea of having the second card in there is a useful one. But the idea of actually having a spare card in your bag is great, because it's all very well having two memory cards there. What if one fails? What if it's the fast card that you record your video on and it fails? So having a spare card really is well worth it, really is essential. So that was our number 2. And when we sat down and went through the camera case, it was all the small things which were more important than the big ones. So what do you think? Is that how you do your photography? Do you think of that when you take your camera out and go off on an expedition somewhere as to what's really important in your camera case? Because it was quite an eye-opener to me as well. Now, I'll apologise, by the way, in case you've noticed I have a slight... When I was on holiday, I broke my front tooth. Not a good experience, I hasten to add. So I'm waiting to get some dental work done on it again, because at the moment I'm slurring my words. But never mind on that. So, what do you consider to be an essential in your camera case? As I say, is it a battery? Is it a memory card? Is it the body? Is it the lenses? Is it some of the accessories? Are you lost if you don't have a remote release for your camera? Let me know in the comments below. I'd really enjoy listening to them. Now keep on watching the channel as well, because I am going to be doing a review of the EM1 Mark II, the camera I took away on holiday. I'm going to be looking to see if it actually lived up to its expectations. If you remember, I've had that camera about a year, but I've rarely used it. I've been using other cameras in preference to it. So this was a little bit of an eye-opener for me to take it on holiday. But of course the EM1 Mark II has been superseded not once with the Mark III, but twice with a new OM1. So is it really a camera which will hold its own in 2022? Join me in that video and let me know. But until then, if you enjoy the channel, don't forget to keep on hitting the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, because that really gets YouTube's algorithms to spread the videos far and wide. And to the people who've given me a donation to buy a coffee, thank you very much to all of you. If you want to join them, there's a link below. Really appreciate it. But until the next time, this is Brian James, shivering back in here in England, saying keep on taking your camera out, keep on taking your photographs, and keep on enjoying your photography. Bye-bye.